Another Survivor season in the books, and quite a unique season at that. One of, if not the biggest complaint people have against a new era of Survivor is that all the seasons feel the same. The format is way too similar that you don't really care or remember what you just watched. And while I feel Survivor tried everything in their power to make sure 46 fell right in line with the other seasons of the new era, the cast of the season said hell no. They're going to play hard, they're going to play dumb, but most importantly, they were going to play to be remembered. And that's exactly what they did. From the first boot to the winner, you remember these people, and you will remember this season as the one that stands out from the rest of the new era. The fun challenge moments, the pettiness, the historic idol blunders, and everything in between made the season a fun ride with a lot of high highs, putting this as a top half season of the new era for me. Unfortunately, with those high highs came some low lows. Some of the worst moments and stretches of new era episodes came from this season I was just praising. While that in itself will also make the season stand out, I was hating my experience with the season at points. I don't exactly feel comfortable talking about those moments either that I didn't enjoy, because I can tell sometimes I can jump right to the negative aspect of a lot of things I talk about. And while I could obviously do that in this video as well, I'm changing things up just a little bit, at least for this video. I want to honor this cast for creating a season that I'm going to look back positively on when everything about the new era tells me I shouldn't. They made this season what it was, for better or for worse. And for today, this video, I'm going to be talking about everything I liked and enjoyed about Survivor 46. Whether that be episodes, moments, challenges, individual players, whatever it may be, if I liked it, I'm going to be talking about it. And because of some of the strengths of the season, you're still going to get a near full season breakdown. I'm just skipping over a few parts, specifically the Banu stuff, because I'm sure most of you either don't care about what I have to say about the Banu stuff or can predict what I have to say about the Banu stuff. It got uncomfortable. It took main focus of so many episodes that frankly just ruined those episodes. And Banu as a person is great. He means so well. But I never want to see Banu on my television screen ever again. I really don't. So that's my review on the Banu of it all. Now we can shift our focus to everything that was great about this season, because there was a lot of great. But last notes before I get into the review itself, I want to stop here and say if you enjoyed this video, or any of my videos for that matter, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's very quick and easy, and it would mean the world to me. Final note, I want to apologize in advance for the way this video is shown. Because Survivor has certain copyright laws, I'm unable to edit these reviews in the way I edit my other videos, so prepare for a lot of screen grabs while I talk over them, with the occasional video clip making its way into the video. I learned my lesson with Survivor 44 because that review got completely violated by copyright. So hopefully the new way that I'm editing this video doesn't affect your enjoyment of the video, and we can all have a great time walking through all of the positives from the newest season of Survivor 46. Luckily for my brain and for this video, the first thing I enjoyed about this season was, funny enough, the premiere. So I'm going to dive into the premiere from beginning to end, kind of like I would in my normal reviews, because it was a 2-hour bulk. 2 hours that I very much enjoyed. The opening scenes of every season are always so fascinating to me to see what route the editors and producers want to take. And I thought this time by having Tevin do a 1.5-minute long monologue talking about the concept of Survivor with the music and the shots of all the castaways was genuinely beautiful television, and I could watch that over and over and over again. And then we instantly moved to Jeff's opening monologue talking about how not everybody here can win the game, even before the game begins. Considering the cast we have this season, Jeff, your power is frightening with how true these words were. And we had funny moments throughout this opening, which I adored.
You get what's left.
Going tribe by tribe in the early stages, there's nobody I would want to start more with than Jelinski. That man is an obvious star of this season, and I'm dead serious when I say that.
Jeff preaches about the monster in this game. Jelinski is the monster.
I'm sorry, I might just have to spend the entire episode talking about Jelinski, because in the moment when watching the episode, I was rooting so hard for a Jelinski downfall because of how chaotic he was. But in hindsight, looking back, God, Jelinski was television gold, and honestly one of the few things I enjoyed about this pre-merge, and the major reason I adore this premiere. Like, come on, during the sweat test, the introduction of...
Last I checked, several means 7, not 4.
That's iconic. Jelinski single-handedly changing the meaning of several for me forever and ever until the end of time. You are a legend. And then Jelinski, because of his several math, quits the sweat test because he doesn't think it's physically possible to finish the task. Nami tribe is probably the least important tribe, at least in the premiere. The only notable moments are Liz just being open about being rich as fuck, and we get a great Tevin soundbite because of it.
Huh. Well, I'm out here for money.
And then the Andy Griffith alliance exists between Tevin and Hunter with some bizarre editing choices. So for a tribe I feel was chaotic as hell in the pre-merge, they didn't give too much in the premiere, so I'm gonna move on to Siga, the Vibe tribe, coined by Ben, who have a pretty simple setup. The girls all want to work together, and bring in Charlie to be their fourth as a majority, while the guys want to counter that by forming a tight 3 together. So thanks to Bean's math, that means Charlie is in the middle, and that's fun.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh girl.
The journey was fun as hell, highlighted by, you guessed it, Jelinski. It's Jelinski, Maria, and Tevin who play this game of bluffing, where one person has to choose who of the other 2 people has the vote card. If they are right, both them and the person with the vote card get an extra vote. If they are wrong, the liar gets an extra vote. The loser in each scenario will also lose their vote because New Era Survivor loves that shit. Maria and Jelinski carry this scene, with Maria being the one that has to decide and Jelinski having to lie. Until Maria quite literally mothers him and gets him to fold instantly, so he doesn't appear to be openly lying to Maria and Tevin right off the bat. It's not a terrible idea in the grand scheme of things. What is a terrible idea, however, is when Jelinski comes back to camp and tells his tribe that he literally just gave Maria and Tevin extra votes, while losing his vote in the process. That right there was dumb as hell, and his tribe is rightfully pissed in hilarious fashion.
You gotta dig deep. Hello?
We get to stay on Yanu for pretty much the rest of the episode, and they're all stars in their own ways. Jess is a star for being way out of her element. She simply can't seem to do anything right, and yeah, it's getting bad.
No, and I'm scared too because of how I am. I would lose them in a shopping mall.
Tiffany gets her chance to shine by finding the Beware advantage, which in this season is a fucking box thing that is only going to be opened once your tribe loses an immunity challenge. So pause on that, it's immunity time. And what other fucking season premiere has this fun of a pre-challenge chat? With Jelinski in all of his power publicly claiming that several means 7, which has cemented his legacy as an icon I love so much. How is he that confident and yet so wrong?
Several means 7. It's a part of the word.
Yanu loses immunity, and that means more Jelinski legend content, even though he's one of the 2 names that's probably gonna go home.
If I could get Jess out of here without even casting a vote? Oh my god, that's Survivor legend status to me.
We have a pit stop before Tribal with Tiffany finding the idol. Good for her, that's some queen shit. But I'm sorry, I'm ready for this Tribal because this was an absolute joy. Jelinski gets flamed at Tribal so bad you kinda start to feel bad for him. I mean, this dude is calling himself a legend, so it's not great, but he's still just 22 years old and getting torn a new one for quitting the sweat task and the journey.
I will never ever give up in a challenge, except for the sweat task.
And the journey.
Then you have Jess going absolutely crazy, like somebody who has not slept the entire time and just has no idea what's going on. But that doesn't even last long because we get right back into the Jelinski conversation and Banu puts a period on whether or not Jelinski is going home right now.
It's time to vote.
Iconic in every sense of the word, Jelinski's voted out unanimously because duh. Jelinski is and will forever be a legend in my mind, and after watching this premiere, I was so high on this cast and so high on this season. These people are literally insane, and the first boot is unironically a legend of Survivor in my eyes. I was high on Survivor Life and really excited to see what this season was going to bring. After a really great premiere, we reach a wall. And it's a very icky wall that is the entire reason I'm constructing this review in this way. But the rest of the pre-merge wasn't terrible. One of those great pre-merge storylines I enjoyed a lot was everything that was going on with the Nami tribe and the absolute shit show that they were pre-merge. There's nowhere else and nobody else I could possibly start with than Venus Fafa. Pretty much anything that happens at Nami will surround Venus, and it's no coincidence that I love these segments because of it. The problem is that Venus seems to be instantly outcasted by her tribe. Nobody truly trusts her and sees her as sketchy and a big threat. I swear they're just jealous of her, but whatever. However, even if it sucks to see somebody be ostracized like that, Venus has now entered underdog status and is extremely likable to watch and root for from now on. I have certain castaways that were specifically on my like list. Venus is absolutely one of them, spoiler alert. But the way I want to do this is talk about those people when I chronologically reach when they are eliminated, just to make things easier and I don't repeat myself. I don't need to talk about Venus in the pre-merge during that segment because I'm doing it right now. You know this tribe is crazy when I have really good things to say about Randon of all people. His whole Beware Advantage fiasco was actually so much fun, mostly because he sees where the tribe is headed. Tevin, Hunter, and Soda are kind of the core. Liz is a literal nutjob, so even though he shaded her and didn't trust her from the start, the only person Randon can go to and work with is Venus. This reveal and this enemies to number one ally storyline was so fucking iconic. I stand this duo with all my heart. But when I tell you this tribe is so unbelievably unserious, we had a whole segment talking about how Soda keeps stealing that damn tribe idol out of Venus's hands. Even if it's unintentional by Soda, it's such an obvious sign that you are on the outs and the person doing the act sees you as an afterthought. Venus needs to take these people down. Something that does come to roost eventually and is extremely satisfying to watch in the process.
Tendency to grab the immunity idol from me, like really rude and annoying. And I will flip immediately against these people.
I'll do my little bit on Hunter now, who has this big personal content about how he's just good at literally everything. I'm sorry, that's just funny for no reason. Hunter is such an odd figure to me on this season. When you have a cast that's as insane and chaotic as Survivor 46, Hunter is the straight man of all straight men. Like, it's kind of comical how boring Hunter is compared to this cast. He literally is just complaining about everybody being so extra and so chaotic, which might be a mood, and that kind of turned my opinion around on Hunter as we went through the season. He was kind of needed as a presence, and his boring nature turned into a positive that I don't think works on many other seasons of Survivor. No matter what though, I'm always going to be Team Venus, don't get that twisted. But I can feel her frustration on this one. When you have those reads that nobody else is listening to, I would rip my hair out. Like, how do you not see this? This is so obvious, and she has it clocked, but nobody else takes her seriously, so nobody else is actually listening to what she says, especially in a game for $1 million. I don't know what I would do then. Fun isn't allowed forever, because the Randon medevac situation was a bit of a downer. He basically slept on his arm so unbelievably wrong that he lost all feeling and movement in it, and when medical heard that, that could either be something small that can heal over time, or something really serious that requires surgery. That uncertainty is why he had to be pulled from the game, and it sucks. Mostly because there was a chance that it could have been nothing, and somebody losing their shot at $1 million over nothing is a fate I don't wish on anybody. I remember when this episode aired, there was discourse about the Australian Survivor medical rules. For those who don't know, those rules they have in Australian Survivor is that if there is a medical emergency, that player will be removed from the game for 24 hours to get thoroughly checked by medical. If they're deemed good to go after those 24 hours, they return to the game. I get Survivor US is a shorter game and 24 hours is a good portion of this game. But if it makes everything fair for everybody else when it comes to those medical situations, I'm willing to sacrifice that. I don't think Survivor US feels the same though, and it will continue to run with this dangerous game or whatever. If they're going to continue that, I'll just say it. Randon was robbed, and Venus loses her only ally. This girl cannot catch a damn break. We got 2 more members of this tribe to talk about. Sorry, Liz, you won't be getting a segment. I think she's a fun character, proves it in the second half of the season. But here in the pre-merge, there's nothing to really say about her. Tevin, on the other hand, he is a fascinating character that has such conviction when he talks. I get entranced by his voice. And goddammit, his story about his dad and how he wasn't able to fish with him one last time really got me tearing up. I genuinely hate some of the sob stories we are force-fed in the new era of Survivor. They feel unnatural, and I just don't care for them sometimes. They're doing it just for the sake of doing it. But this one by Tevin was so perfectly placed, made total sense in the story, and was extremely touching and got me in my feelings. Shout out Tevin and his dad for teaching him those fishing tips.
My dad passed away about 10 months ago.
One of the hardest parts about him passing was that the day after he passed, my phone didn't ring. So he lives on.
And the final member of this tribe I'll talk about specifically is Soda. Soda is an incredible character that I really did enjoy at the beginning. Although she is great socially, that is also her detriment and makes her a threat because of how great socially she is. So even if Venus is that glaring target for people that they are outcasting constantly, Soda is the true threat and the person this tribe has been targeting for a while if they were to lose a challenge. With a hunter on your tribe? That shit ain't happening though.
Wow! We are dead even right now. And Hunter, get it! Hunter has got this figuratively in the lead. There he is! Gonna be Hunter. Good job. And he did it. Nice touch by Hunter. For Nami. Yeah! And there it is!
Michael Jordan, baby.
Hunter has one for Nami. Make it 2! And he does it!
It's so funny how every single challenge Nami comes in losing it, and then Hunter just comes out of nowhere, beasts his way, and carries their team to a win. Every time, without fail. I'll end the chaos of this tribe in the pre-merge with the Hunter Beware Advantage saga. He finds the Beware Advantage, blah blah blah. After they announce to drop your buffs, Hunter is on a time limit to find his damn idol. And nothing has ever encapsulated the Nami tribe more perfectly than the scene of Hunter on the stairs digging for the idol while Soda and Vegas are starting an argument over nothing in the background.
You gotta ask him, I don't know. I just asked. You don't have to shut me out each time I ask you a question. Realistically, we used to talk all the time in the beginning and now you barely talk to me. And that's just that's like, I'm not blind, so like that's just reality.
I feel like we have.
It made me laugh so hard and just makes way too much sense for this to be the final scene of this tribe together. Overall, the Nami tribe is a really fun mess. And of the 3 tribes, I had the most fun with Nami for the longest, simply because they were chaotic. They didn't care that they hated each other, and I lived for that petty drama and energy. It's a small bright spot of the pre-merge that I enjoyed episode after episode, even if the other things weren't living up to the hype. However, there is one more thing that I enjoyed from this pre-merge before we dive into the merge. And it's something that shocked me considering how this tribe was the main reason I hated episodes 2 through 4. But the Yanu 3, after they got rid of Banu, was extremely likable and so much fun to me in their 1 episode arc. Nothing against Banu as a person, but I was very uncomfortable with that entire arc, and it made everybody involved feel unlikable and unrootable. But the second Banu left, these 3 were a joy and very likable underdogs. We start with these 3 in their post-Banu world, and it was such a unique dynamic to watch them. They want to succeed so bad, they want to win that one challenge, but everything that's happened to them and has been thrown their way has told them otherwise. This game has beat them down so bad episode after episode after episode, but they're trying their best to maintain that fight that can allow them to win just one damn challenge. And I don't know, it's incredibly impressive how I could go from pretty annoyed at these 3 during episodes 2 through 4 to loving each and every one of them in different moments this episode. Once the negative vibes left the tribe, these 3 could show that they're fun as hell, kinda like they did in the premiere. Like Q. Man, do I love Q, and I'll get to him in his infamous episode soon enough. But goddamn it, his confessionals are pure gold.
Hell, even looking at the bamboo at this point, It's getting on my nerves.
And then Fake wanting to quit the game and acting like he's giving up in order to bait Kenzie to not use her shot in the dark in case they lose another challenge is so Q-coded. Considering how he's acted before and how he acts later in the season, you can never truly trust what Q has to say in confessionals, but that's why I love Q so much. He's fucking ridiculous. Kenzie's a lot of fun. I'm a sucker for that what y'all talking about montage because that's so me. I'm so her. She is so me. I stan Kenzie simply for that. And then we got Tiffany being in the power position, per usual that she has been all pre-merge. That was my winner pick and she keeps it real and I love her for it. But the challenge is where we get to the real intrigue. Can Yanu get it done and win a goddamn challenge? Cause they be catching strays from Jeff, goddammit.
Last tribe to finish, otherwise known as the losers. I thought they might say Yanu.
But they showed Jeff in such a beautiful montage with the comeback win, and the slow-mo shot of that final hit is 10,000% too dramatic, but 10,000% deserved for Yanu, and lets them live a day as winners. The perfect arc to end off this episode for them.
It's the feeling we haven't felt yet. Is this what it feels like to win? Yes!
This tribe was in a miserable spot, and I hated every time they were focused on for 3 straight episodes. All of a sudden, they get down to 3, and I'm fascinated by them, and lived and died by their arc this episode. Modern Survivor has had a lot of tribes just get decimated by challenge after challenge after challenge, most of that being due to the 3-tribe format, and most of the time, I just don't care. I get annoyed. I think it's overdone. And even if this was overdone, I was still invested in them. They found a way to get me invested, even after I know I'm tired of this. That is a testament to how great these 3 are and what great casting they were. In a pre-merge that really sucked, if anything, this was a fun way to cap it off. But we can move to the merge now and talk about all that I enjoyed from here until the very end. And spoiler alert, I have a lot more positive things to say during the merge than I did during the pre-merge. Mergatory episode was a dud in my eyes, so I'm gonna skip that. And I wasn't even a big fan of the split tribal vote outs. The outcomes were entirely too predictable, and I didn't even need to see what the groups were to exactly know who was going home and in what order. But I'm not about to completely skip through these 2 episodes because there was one moment I adored. That goddamn pyramid immunity challenge needs to be put in the Survivor Hall of Fame. Pretty much the entire challenge has gone viral online because it's so fucking hilarious, and I'm unable to show all the clips here for copyright issues, but I beg you to go back and relive how amazing this challenge was from beginning to end. Come on, the alphabet game is instantly iconic. Charlie is such a cheeky fuck for messing it up on purpose.
Y'all want to play the alphabet game?
A, Atlanta.
B for Baltimore. Oh my goodness, you're out, Ben.
C for Cincinnati.
Oh my God.
Wait. Baltimore.
Oh my God.
A Jelinski reference too. They're just spoiling us seconds into this challenge.
In honor of Jelinski, you've been up here several minutes.
Tim and Jeff with the what up Jeff scene is so funny. Q telling everybody when he's not in a fight to shut his mouth, only to talk seconds later and get told by Tim to shut his mouth. Not to mention Tim would be great on Big Brother with all those damn shoutouts he was doing. I love that man Tim, he was high-key robbed. All that and then 2 iconic women win immunity in Kenzie and Maria. I don't know, the challenge was a joy to watch. Genuinely will be one of the things that will never leave my mind from the season. Engraved into my memory, and for sure a positive that I just loved about this season. I don't get excited about challenges, but I was so excited about this one. We can have our fun and all with the challenge, but now we're back to just some great fucking Survivor. And that's exactly what episode 8 of this season was. One of the single best episodes of the new era from top to bottom, and I would be ashamed of myself if I didn't do a full breakdown because holy shit, this was a joy. This episode lives and dies with Q, so it's only fitting that the episode starts in a post-tribal world with Q complaining that nobody wants to talk game after tribal. He's just getting mad for the sake of being mad, and it's high-key already iconic. But this is quite literally the least notable Q scene in the entire episode, which is a great sign.
They just want to talk about food, bro.
The other tribe gets back from tribal, and of course Venus moseys on in, to everybody's surprise, and instantly decided to choose violence and air out everybody's shit, including calling Tevin a snake, even though Tevin theoretically orchestrated the soda blindside.
I'm so sorry.
But if Nami is going to be anything, it's a fucking mess, because we get to add a third hat into the ring, because Liz is pissed as hell that Tevin is taking all the credit for the soda move because she wants the credit for the soda move. So we have Venus taking credit publicly, Tevin taking credit privately, and Liz wanting credit because she didn't like soda. Kind of a queen, but that entire trio is a whole ass mess. Back to Q. We're gonna be stuck on Q for a while. Buy yourself a goddamn Q skirt, people. I know people either love or hate Q. If you couldn't tell, I absolutely adore him. This stupid ass Q shirt that, spoiler alert, is literally a hoodie tied around your waist is the perfect pre-immunity challenge scene I needed in a Survivor episode. But don't sleep on Q strategically, because he is at least trying. He's definitely trying. These events I'm about to talk about are a little bit out of order from the episode, but I wanted to combine them together because it's fucking hilarious to watch Q operate. After one 6-person alliance failed right at the merge, Q is pitching another 6-person alliance with 2 Nami, Tevin and Hunter, 2 Yanu, Q and Tiffany, and 2 Siga, Charlie and Maria. In Q's mind, this is foolproof because this dude is legit the definition of a mob boss, except he has none of the tact to be a successful mob boss. He wants power at all times, and anytime he doesn't feel like he is in total control, he loses his mind, or at least what's left of it after starving on an island for weeks. For example, when Tiffany, his number 1 ally, mentions Maria's name as a potential target, Q can't comprehend that behavior as anything but traitorous. The person he has worked with since day 1 told him somebody that she thinks is a threat, and because Maria is a part of that 6-person bullshit alliance he made, he throws away all logic and chucks Tiffany so far under the bus it's not even funny. Telling the entire alliance to vote out Tiffany and tells Maria that Tiffany has an idol. What are you doing, Q? Like, I understand wanting to build a rapport with the other members of your alliance, but one little statement said by Tiffany, and all of a sudden, flips Q's game on its head, and he's perfectly fine throwing away all of his previous relationships? For the record, if you couldn't tell, Q's not exactly amazing at Survivor, but he's an amazing character, and that's all that matters to me right now. And we still aren't done with this amazing fucking character, because it's time for a game of hide and seek. Q is truly just a child who wants to have as much fun as possible while being the focal point the entire way. But the way he goes at it, it doesn't feel obnoxious or annoying. It's fascinating and eye-catching. Like, come the fuck on, who else is going to use a game of hide and seek and spin the narrative that the people who beat him in a game of hide and seek are the biggest threats in the game? Nobody's doing that but Q. Liz finds him in hide and seek.
Bad idea, Liz.
Ben wins hide and seek.
Ben made a mistake.
Hunter also wins hide and seek.
Hunter made a mistake.
This dude is a content machine. And all of that content is just raining upon us in this one episode, and I'm eating it up. I really am. Even the immunity challenge had some fun, and a lot of that revolved around Q. The iconic rice debate that everybody loves so much. And did I mention iconic? Because this rice debate is one for the ages. Yeah, everybody loves it when people sit out for food. Man, Jeff, why don't you just feed these people? What is wrong with you? Whatever, I'm over it. But these people couldn't get 4 people to sit out, and Q was so pissed that he threw the challenge first and proceeded to throw a tantrum on the bench. Fucking icon. Jelinski reference again.
You all have been up there 7 minutes.
Several. Several.
Long live Jelinski.
And then Charlie had a lot of fun here at the end of the challenge.
Jeff,
Yeah.
how about some rice?
All this for Hunter to win immunity and fucking do whatever this position is. No worries, Hunter, that won't put a massive target on your back or anything. The vote is seemingly going to fall onto Tiffany because of Q's dumbassery, until Liz decides to break out and push a vote onto Tevin, because I think she's still a little bit bitter that Tevin is claiming the soda blindside. And that vote spread so easily. People were clearly down, they just didn't want to be the person to say it, so when Liz said it, they were like, thank God we can vote for Tevin. So Tevin is the easy vote. Hunter and Tevin will be left out and we'll be all good to go. Until they tell Q about the plan. Q begins to spiral at this very moment, like he hasn't been spiraling all episode. Regardless, Q is somebody who needs total control at all points in the game and will not settle for anything less. So when he hears a whole new fucking plan has been made without his knowledge, one that nearly the entire tribe is down for, he's not a fan. But at this point, there's nothing you can do, Q. You physically can't get the numbers, and it would be worse if you tried, so you should just leave it alone. And he's talking to Hunter about the Tevin vote. God damn it, Q, what are you doing? You know Hunter's not about to be rational about his #1 ally leaving the game. So Hunter takes off in a hilarious scene.
I get a pulse on it and see what I need to do.
And now chaos is about to erupt. Hunter pleading for Tevin's life to the 6, like on his hands and knees practically. Venus deciding to be messy because she's fucking Venus. And now Q is realizing that he kinda caused all this mess as we head to Tribal. Which after an episode of chaos and craziness, this might just be the craziest part of the episode. Tribal seems to be going normal until, you guessed it, Q opens up his mouth and begins to talk.
The only person that's going home tonight is me.
Excuse me? I remember there being teasers and announcements that this tribal was going to be insane, but nobody told me this entire episode, surrounded by Q from beginning to end, was ending with Q asking everybody to vote him out because he feels like he caused this vote and feels bad about it? What logic is that? Don't think I forgot half of the internet thought this was some master plan created by Q. No. This man wanted to go home in this moment and was practically begging to be sent out. Or at least wanted all the attention on him. It's one of the two for sure. But yeah, as you can imagine, when you go into tribal council with a plan and somebody says fuck the plan and throws a tantrum, you're going to be a mix of confused and mad. And naturally, a live tribal will ensue with incredible sound bites.
Is this not the dumbest? I don't care for this shenanigans. This does not rock.
He's gonna be miserable at camp if we don't put him out.
He doesn't get that luxury.
One of the important game conversations that takes place during this scrambling is between Charlie and Tiffany. Tiffany finds out her name was on the chopping block because of Q, and also Charlie and Maria know about her idol because of Q.
Oh.
Yeah, this entire thing is dumb, and the cast makes sure we know it.
That was the dumbest thing ever.
Dumbest tribal ever.
I know. Whatever. I was confused as hell.
But in the end, Tevin still gets to boot with Tevin and Hunter on the outside of the vote, and this entire episode was a fucking mess, and to see a big character like Tevin go out at the end of it is a really strong outcome. I feel like if Venus went out simply because Hunter and Tevin don't like her, that would have sucked, and I would not have liked this episode as much as I do. Or even Q getting his way and going home would have been lame. But this cast committed to the blind side and took out a massive player. So the episode stuck the landing, and just everything about this drama-filled episode made me remember why I love Survivor. We can still get amazing and chaotic moments like this if the cast is right and Survivor lets these people play the damn game. Don't interfere with them. Let them do their thing, and I promise you they will make good television. Everything that happened here was because of the cast, not production. Let's keep it that way, and I'll enjoy the new era a lot more like I enjoyed this episode. We get to jump to the very next episode for what else I liked about Survivor 46. Unlike episode 8, which was oops all Q, I'm not including the entire episode. The beginning was whatever to me and not as exciting as I was hoping considering what just transpired at Tribal Council, and that immunity challenge was too damn long. I'm specifically talking about the blind side and everything that led to that vote out in episode 9 because that was a roller coaster of emotions. I love starting one of these things with Q, don't you just love it too? Oh god. I just realized if you're watching this and you hate Q, you're probably very annoyed. At the same time, you probably didn't make it that far into the video, so oh well. Q sees the writing on the wall and knows his days are numbered. And to add insult to injury, Kenzie just girlbossed the fuck out of him.
It didn't include you.
You didn't include me either. And I have like no respect for what you did last night.
Oh, Q! Thanks, like let's buddy up. No.
But unfortunately, Kenzie, I think you're gonna need your icon status removed because what the fuck is she doing turning on Tiffany and wanting this vote to be a Tiffany blindside? I don't know what they put in the New Era players' water, but they always be turning on their closest ally, and it always backfires. It's never a smart idea to target your closest ally when it's so early on in the game. It leaves you very vulnerable as an upcoming target, and taking away your best number is not the move. So Kenzie, this is a no-no, and if it wasn't for Tiffany basically saying she's going to be playing her idol just to get rid of it, I think things would have looked very bleak for Kenzie if Tiffany goes at this tribal. Because yeah, like I said, Tiffany correctly clocks what to do when an idol becomes public knowledge. Play it. You're doing yourself no favors by holding on to an idol everybody knows about. You can't play any more tricks or any more games with it. You either play it or you don't. And everybody will be keeping an eye on you as long as you have that idol. You will always be an option to be voted for, or at least be a backup because of the idol. So it should be played unless you are 1,000,000% certain your name will not be written down by anybody. So good on Tiffany, she accidentally changed the vote from her back to Hunter.
And we can literally drop this plan an hour beforehand. Or less.
But it can never be that easy. Hunter does have an idol after all, and has been getting a weird feeling all afternoon. The same one he had during the Tevin vote, so drama time. However, Hunter is not going to just simply use his idol to get him by one round. He wants it to be a tool to gain allies in the process, which I don't disagree with. Especially if you're the big target in the game, you need other people besides yourself. And going to Q, the other person on the outs, telling him about your idol, is a great idea. You two pick yourselves up from the bottom and have some power for this vote. Good idea, Hunter. Now telling Liz, Venus, and Kenzie about your idol? Bad idea, Hunter. You buffoon, you literally just voted for Venus last tribal. Why would you think telling her about this crucial information would lead to anything other than Venus spilling the beans about your idol? So now all the power Hunter had with this idol has turned into the entire camp knowing about his idol and chaos erupting. What the fuck are you doing, Hunter? He had such a powerful tool and decided his ego was too big. He needed to show it off to everybody instead of taking the upper hand. Even with what I said before about it being a decent idea to build trust with your idol, you aren't supposed to make a majority alliance with this. It's not that easy, dude. The game doesn't revolve around you. You still want your idol to have some power, not paint an even bigger target on your back. So thanks to Hunter, we're headed to tribal and I have no idea what the fuck is about to go down.
I'm very prepared.
Oh.
I have a cushion. I brought some popcorn.
Okay, yeah, if Jeff is about to pull out these cringy ass stunts, this tribal is gonna be fun as hell. The only issue is that at first glance, this tribal felt like it was going to be extremely boring and was going to lead to a terrible outcome. Q versus Tiffany was a petty ass battle and eventually just turned into people just hating on Q, going in hard. Thank God Q has a great attitude because these people genuinely wanted nothing to do with him. It's almost like he asked to be sent home out of nowhere last tribal and fucked up everybody's plans. Oh, right. Anyways, the other thing to focus on this tribal is fucking Hunter. Pro tip, dude, never play poker in your life because you have the single worst poker face I've ever seen. Paranoid as hell, consistently asking literally everybody if the vote is still on Q, and I started getting annoyed at this point. Like, dude, chill the fuck out. If you're so paranoid, just play your damn idol, oh my god. But there's only one way to find out, and that's the vote.
Wish you all the best. Have fun eating tater tots. That was ridiculous. Okay, bye.
Hunter, just don't be a goddamn idiot.
If anybody has an advantage or an idol and you want to play it, now would be the time to do so.
Oh, Hunter, you goddamn idiot. What is about to happen now?
First vote. Q. Hunter. Q. Hunter. Q. Tied again. Q. That Hunter. One vote left. Ben.
Oh my god. My tweets in this moment when I was live tweeting the episode are the perfect encapsulation of how I felt in this moment, because holy shit, I was blindsided. And like, this isn't some insane mind-boggling move or anything, it's just a split vote to counter Hunter if he plays his idol. Man, the way it was presented with the scrambling at camp, Q getting flamed all tribal, Hunter being paranoid, all for Hunter to get played so badly was extremely satisfying and a wonderful outcome, because obviously they're going to take out Hunter on the revote. Hunter is whatever to me. Everything positive is said about him in the pre-merge was taken away in the post-merge. I didn't really care to watch him then. He was literally the least interesting cast member on the tribe once we merged. So yes, please look stupid by not playing your idol. And let me get to that. Why the hell do you not play your idol here? I'm sorry, nothing can possibly justify this. Newsflash to all future Survivor players, telling people you have an idol isn't some master plan to get them to change the vote off of you. Telling people you have an idol guarantees votes will be on you in order to flush your idol. I don't know why people don't realize this. People think they're so smart being like, oh, I have this fake idol, or ooh, I'm gonna tell people I have an idol so they stay away from me. No, it's gonna do the opposite. Why would they willingly let you move on one more round with an idol? They will be putting the votes on you so that if you don't play your idol, you go home, and the idol goes home too. And if you do play the idol, whoever the backup target is will go home. This is Survivor 101, I thought, but so many people don't realize this, and it's sad to see. Like, damn it, it's a great move, but so extremely frustrated to see Hunter made to look like such a fool. And there's nobody to blame but Hunter. It's an idiotic play, or lack thereof, to send him off to the jury bench. Amazing blindside though. It's on the list for a reason. I was so into this moment and this move. Injected into my veins, this season is heating up, and I'm ready and eager for whatever is next on the list. Who would have thunk it would be the very next episode that gets us this moment? Although this next choice is a very unique option, because I don't actually like the entire moment I'm about to talk about, and I think you know what I'm about to talk about. The Liz Applebees freakout arc was fascinating to me. And I don't mean just the freakout. I mean the freakout combined with the game move that was made in the same episode. Because if I'm being real, I don't exactly love the freakout. It's an iconic moment in the show. I can't exactly ignore it, and I would feel not good about myself if I didn't talk about it this video. So thank God what happens later in the episode gives me a reason to justifiably talk about this. I really hope there isn't anything more I need to add for context's sake on what the Applebees freakout is. We finally found somebody more into Applebees than Karishma, and that's Liz. She was literally drooling over the thought of eating that fucking burger. And considering she literally cannot eat, like, anything, this is a reward built for her. However, Q wins the reward. And Q decides to choose Maria, Kenzie, and Tiffany. And Liz loses it. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. There's a lot to get here and how I feel about this. Before I get into anything too deep and serious, this is incredible television. To have somebody lose their ever-loving mind because of Applebees only happens on fucking Survivor. And it's so good, and we need to appreciate the moment. Now that it's out of the way though, a lot of people have their opinions on the ethics or morals of this moment, me included. I'll start with this. I think Liz had every right to be upset and mad that she couldn't eat in that moment. That's fine. Where I have an issue though is when she's blaming Q and only Q for not eating. I'm sorry, I just don't agree that it's fully Q's fault. Q doesn't owe anything to Liz, and Liz is not entitled to be taken on the reward for that fact alone. So the freakout is great TV, but it's a little annoying to go all episode with Liz singling out Q as the sole reason she can't eat. That isn't fair to Q. And before y'all come at me, I can understand the morality of it all. It's the quote-unquote nice thing to do for Q to take Liz on the reward. I think most people would do that. But he's not a terrible person to not take her either. Just like how Liz pushed aside personal feelings for game's sake later in the episode, Q pushed aside personal feelings to benefit his game. And to criticize somebody for wanting to benefit their game is hypocritical, and I straight up disagree with it. It got to the point during the episode that Liz kind of became entitled to me. She expected to be taken on the reward. No, honey, you shouldn't expect anything from anybody in a game for $1 million. Life isn't fair and neither is Survivor. So I'm always going to come to the defense of Q in this instant because he's his own man and he can do what he wants and doesn't owe somebody who's been targeting him anything in this game. But it's still an iconic television moment and I'm glad it happened and I'm glad Liz yelled at him. Just direct your anger towards other things. It's not Q's fault you're allergic to a lot of things. And that's my TED Talk on the matter.
Look, Survivor's tough.
But the reason this is a moment I love is because of what happens at the end of the episode. Q is and has been the obvious target, which confuses me why he isn't a valuable asset to keep in the game. He has zero chance of winning, so why don't you just take him to the final 3? He loses, you win, but whatever. But Tiffany has been and still is a massive threat in the game because of that idol. So the 3 Segas are going to get Q on board and go for the Tiffany blindside, whether the others like it or not. Even though I'm not good at math, 4 out of 8 still isn't a majority, so they need somebody else from the other 3 women to join them on this vote. Kenzie is a no because even though she's been very persistent on wanting Tiffany out, she seems to get cold feet and back out on the plan at the end. Venus is a no because it's Venus and nobody at camp likes her, so that leaves one person. The woman who has very publicly shown she despises Q with every fiber left in her body. Liz. So now we get to witness Liz, the person who just ate Q up and down, left and right, have to decide if she wants to vote out Q to be petty and personal, or keep Q because it's good for her game. That's so fun, and it's the perfect arc to end this episode on with yet another blindside.
First vote, Q. Tiff. Q. Q. Tiff. Tiff, we're tied. Tiff, 11th person voted out and the 4th member of our jury. Tiff.
I love that storytelling, except it's not anything complex. It's what genuinely happened, and unless you're a Tiffany stan, I don't know how you don't love this moment. I loved Tiffany and she was my winner pick, but I knew she wasn't winning basically from the start, so I wasn't as devastated. I was happy, and I love how Survivor 46 is on this insane streak of great blindsides back to back to back. It's something we've been missing out of the new era, and I'm glad this cast is here to deliver. The next episode as a whole was fine to me, honestly, but we did lose a player. A player I love and adore and wanted to give her proper due diligence. Venus Vaffa is a goddamn star. I've already broken down her entire pre-merge game, and I'm definitely going to bring up some notable post-merge moments, but I want to spend this time talking about Venus as a player and what she meant to this season. Because the overlying story or theme that remained consistent was how everybody just hated Venus and did not want to work with her. And to some levels, on a pure game sense, I understand her castmates. If you don't vibe with somebody, you don't have to work with them. Nobody is obligated to work with or try to work with everybody. That's just not how Survivor goes. And Venus at points was very untrustworthy and would leak information to people constantly. So yeah, Venus is not the perfect standard for an ally. The issue I have though is that I feel like the treatment of Venus went beyond game at many points. Many points that these players are just kinda not taking accountability of. Whether or not you're working or not working with somebody, there should be no point in time where this mob mentality is created to isolate somebody completely. That's not a game move, that's just being kind of cruel as a person. And I'm not trying to single anybody out, I'm just going to say that I hope anybody who was involved in that behavior can grow and learn that that was not the solution to dealing with the quote-unquote Venus problem. Venus is not some perfect person, I fully understand that. And I think a lot of her fans online have been very toxic, and I don't think the treatment of these certain people who have treated Venus this way is warranted at all. Nobody should be having to deactivate on social media because of this stuff. But Venus isn't a terrible person, and I don't think she deserved any of the treatment that she got. And then hearing some of the behind the scenes with the cold responses she got in Ponderosa and stuff is just kind of sad to me. That's when you can clearly tell they personally hated Venus, and I felt terrible for her because of that. So the entire situation there is kind of gross and should never have happened under any circumstances. But the other players can stay mad because Venus was a star. The reads this girl had were 10 out of 10 almost every time. She knew who was running the game. She knew who the threats were. She knew her optimal path moving forward. She just didn't have any of the social tact to accomplish that. And that in itself was more fascinating than if like fucking Hunter had the same game sense Venus had. Cause that would have probably led to Hunter steamrolling the game. But no, he didn't have those reads and that's why he got voted out. Venus was very flawed as a player because of her social game, or lack thereof. And that was what got me hooked on her. I don't get hooked by the flawless, boring people. I'm intrigued by those with the flaws and see how they try to overcome them. And she almost did it, surviving vote after vote while being in the majority most of the time, finding an idol and telling nobody, a foreign concept to these idiots in the new era. She was able to move through this game while still being iconic, calling people out when they need to, like Maria on her bullshit with that reward thing that she was doing. She made a trio with Liz and Kenzie, and like, she was about to girl boss her way into some actual power in the endgame. And then the second she lost that immunity challenge, everything came crashing down. Charlie flipped back to Maria and Ben, everybody turned on Venus, and she was left without any allies while having no idea she was left without any allies, and became the 4th person this season to get voted out with an idol. That shit is a curse and should tell future Survivor players, please, play that damn idol. But Venus left her mark. She gained many fans, me being one of them, and if she wasn't so fucking messy online, I'd say she'd be a lock to return for 50. But I really do doubt that now. Which is unfortunate because I don't think she was given a fair shake in this game. She had one true ally, one person that was able to peel back the layers and not judge her and ostracize her. Randon. And then Randon got medically evacuated from the game. So this girl had no chance of winning, but I don't think that was fully her fault. I would love in some universe out there for Venus to return or even just start fresh on another type of season. No more Tevin hating on her, no more Hunter hating on her, no more Soda hating on her. Just Venus being able to play the game and see how it goes, without those outside factors harming her. Venus was fucking great. Robbed queen, gone too soon. Yeah, this is a bit awkward. There are 2 more episodes left that I should be talking about, but I kinda hated the ending to this season. The penultimate episode, and especially the finale, did not give me much of anything to write home with. Like, I love Q, and seeing 5 people go home this season with an idol, 4 of them being in a row, is crazy. But it doesn't always make for fun TV, and for all of these outside of the Hunter vote, it wasn't good TV to see people just be dumb. And oh my god, was the finale low-key terrible and really did lower my opinion on the season just from that one episode. But I didn't want to end the review in an unceremonious way, so just for fun, you get to hear my complaints about how the finale of Survivor 46 was not my cup of tea. And I have a lot of complaints, so unfortunately we couldn't even go a full video without talking negatively, but this feels like a special case. To start, the final 5 vote was lame and predictable. Maria is on the outs, so who would have thunk if Maria doesn't win immunity, she's going home. The immunity challenge had, like, a good moment when Charlie smacked himself in the face.
Charlie's gonna be out first. Use the water if you need it. You're gonna need your eyes to see. Ow.
And then we got to watch Kenzie and Liz tag team together and make sure Maria doesn't win immunity, which she doesn't because Kenzie wins. Overall, I'm pretty anti-helping somebody else win individual immunity. It looks really bad, and the person helping the other person never comes out in a positive light. Especially when it's Liz helping Kenzie. Like, Liz, girl, what are you doing? Whatever, the entire thing is kind of a mess that I don't really care for. And then the show tries to fake us out that Maria actually has a chance to stay, until we get to Tribal where they make it abundantly clear Maria has no chance to stay. And she doesn't, she goes home. Leaving to a standing ovation, god, these people have no shame. I would talk about Maria right now, but I have much stronger opinions on her very later on. And wow, the final 4 round also sucked. Honestly, as much as Liz annoys the fuck out of me, she was the only entertaining part of this round because of how delusional she was. The final immunity challenge was actually different, and I like seeing that it's not just emotion the whole time. Ben ends up winning, and that was kind of unexpected and really crazy, because Ben now has a chance to make a big move. And he's putting Liz into fire making because he thinks she is the biggest threat. And Liz also thinks she's the biggest threat. And then Kenzie also thinks she's the biggest threat. I'm sorry, they all deserve to lose the game just for that. In what goddamn universe do you see Liz, the self-entitled millionaire that is never taken serious, as the biggest threat left in the game that would win against anybody? It's so embarrassing. I'm sorry, it just is. So now Ben has to decide who he wants to put in against Liz between Charlie and Kenzie. And he chooses Kenzie because, sure, who cares? We all know Liz is losing this shit. And Liz goes home while crying and telling the entire jury she was gonna whoop all of them. Sure, girl, whatever helps you sleep at night. I'm really bummed we missed out on Ponderosa this season because I would have loved to see the jury tell Liz she would have lost handedly. As if it wasn't obvious enough by their reactions to Liz proclaiming she was the biggest threat. Again, embarrassing. Liz is a great character, much better than I anticipated, but a frustrating player that has a crazy massive ego that kinda rubs me the wrong way. But when I'm not annoyed by that, I have fun with Liz, so good for her, I guess. It would have been so much fun to see her get completely flamed and humbled by the jury at Final Tribal. But she wasn't, and we're left with a final three of Ben, Kenzie, and Charlie. But to be completely fair to this finale, Marie and Liz going out back-to-back was very predictable, so I'm not mad at the results. I'm mad at how we got to the results, which were not fun for even a moment except for Liz. So my hope was that with a pretty strong final three, at least a strong top two with Charlie and Kenzie, we'd get a great final tribal and potentially something like a tie vote with Ben deciding the winner, which would have been amazing. And what did we get? Not much. I love Q with all my heart, and the Yanu 3 getting into an argument at Final Tribal because Q is too stubborn was amazing and brought an actual smile to my face during the finale. A rare sight. Nobody really did that well at all during the questioning, but that isn't like a bad thing. It's not fun to see somebody dominate a Final Tribal Council sometimes. And the jury helped with that because they were all over the place. For sure had their biases, but at least most of them were open with who they were wanting to vote for. Which is all you can really ask for from a juror, to at least give everybody a chance. It was so good where we had a point where somebody like Tevin didn't even know who he was voting for until the last moment. Which will bring us to the winner of Survivor 46.
First vote. Charlie. Kenzie. Charlie. Kenzie, we're tied again. Charlie. Kenzie, we're tied again. Kenzie, the winner of Survivor 46. Kenzie.
There it is. Kenzie wins the game, and I'm very whelmed by that result. Kenzie seems like a great person who is very likable, but just wasn't my personal cup of tea from the very beginning. I know the stands are going to come for me hard, but there's something there that disconnected me from her. I feel that she's kind of patronizing to people, but the way that she talks is very sweet, and she's able to mask those patronizing words by coming off as very likable, which good for her, but it's something I noticed all season that I was really just waiting for her to get humbled with. But her winner edit was extremely obvious, so I lost faith in that happening a long time ago. Now, just because I didn't click with her on a personal level does not mean I think she played a bad game or was undeserving in any way of this win. Her social game is nearly unmatched in the new era with how she's able to connect with people. So even if I think her strategic game was lacking where she didn't have any like quote unquote moves on her resume, she had one of the three aspects of Survivor locked down to perfection. And you have to give her credit for that. She's a good winner to represent this season, no doubt in mind. Ben was fine, really fell off for me in the back half compared to his pre-merge game, which is really unfortunate, but oh well, I just don't have a lot to say. But somebody I do have a lot to talk about is Charlie, the runner-up. This is a heartbreaking loss for Charlie, and to see him go through that really hit home. Mostly because I could see myself playing the exact same way Charlie did, except he has a lot more social tact than I do. And I feel he played an incredible game of Survivor. He held control and was dominating the entire game from beginning to end. Always being in a power position and always being on the right side of the numbers. And you're telling me some people didn't vote for him because Kenzie won fire making? Oh, get the fuck out of here with that. And I'm talking specifically about you, Maria. I'll get into this now because there was a lot of turmoil about Maria's vote and how she didn't vote for Charlie. To start, I think any juror is allowed to vote for anybody for any reason. But as a viewer and somebody who I guess makes videos on this, I can still discuss my opinion on the matter. And in my opinion, that was a weak fucking excuse Maria gave for why she voted for Kenzie over Charlie and not her actual reasoning. Saying that she saw the fire in Kenzie's eyes and Kenzie wanted it more as her reasoning, pairing that with the fact that Maria didn't raise her hand on if she was considering switching her vote going to FTC, so she was, I guess, always voting for Kenzie, makes no sense to me. There are plenty of reasons to vote for Kenzie as the winner of this season, and the reasoning Maria gave is not one of them. So yes, just cut the bullshit, Maria. You didn't win, so you didn't want Charlie to win either. That's the reason. I don't care whatever anybody else says. To be a literal ride or die for somebody the entire game, only to completely dump him after you lost the game, right after you promised you would vote for each other to win no matter what, tells me one thing. She was mad. And again, that is perfectly fine. But I'm here to call it as it is. And Maria giving us an excuse just so she can look better or try to prop down Charlie is kind of embarrassing and makes no sense to me. It's simply a bullshit excuse for her, and it pisses me off more thinking about that than her just admitting that she might have just been mad that she didn't win. And Charlie has every fucking right to be pissed and not be friends or not want to talk to Maria after this. Because even during the after show, I feel like Maria showed zero remorse or pity for Charlie at the end. It was really weird to me. I got really uncomfy watching that. And Charlie is much better than me because I would have been pissed on levels I cannot even comprehend right now. So the fact that he showed grace to Kenzie and grace to Maria is everything, and I admire him for that. But please, Survivor, just do the after show like the day after so you don't like put two people who just lost $1 million right in that moment in front of the cameras and have them talk about their experience. I promise you it's not the good TV you think it is, and it honestly makes me upset more than anything. So yeah, that entire situation soured my opinion on this finale even more than it already was. And of course, that's how this rocky-ass season ends. Starts high, goes very, 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 very low. Picks up to a peak for a while, and the ending was such a low note for me. Survivor 46, you confused the hell out of me. But at least you were funny. Anyways, we're done now. My final note is that Asia fucking Welch is winning Survivor 47, and I will not be convinced otherwise. Go off, Queen.
I am ready to forge my own path.
The season is over. We've made it to the end of the video. I was able to mostly talk positively on the season, but the finale felt like a place I needed my opinion heard because that was all lame. I don't plan on doing this format for any of my reviews going forward. Survivor 46 was a special occasion because I simply did not have the heart or the million hearts to talk about most of the pre-merge. One, it didn't matter, and two, it was very painful to watch and experience. So how do I feel about Survivor 46 at the end of the day? Very conflicted. The season ran on high and low points, and obviously the high points were really great and fun to watch, but the low points were some of the worst episodes of the new era. And I think this is undoubtedly the worst finale of the new era. So I'm really conflicted, but will still look back on the season and think of it fondly, at least just purely based on the moments. Just don't ask me to rewatch the season anytime soon, because I don't plan on it and I don't really want to. And now we're off to the Survivor off-season as we wait for Big Brother in the summertime. So what does that mean for me? Well, it just means I'm kind of busier than ever. We have tons of Traders content coming your way with tons of rankings and discussions that I don't think have been done yet on YouTube, coming out very soon. Plus, look out for my review on the Challenge All-Stars 4 when that wraps up, some Survivor videos being thrown in there during the off-season, a new video essay type of series I have planned, and of course, Big Brother videos when we get closer and closer to the release of Big Brother 26. So I'm gonna be staying busy, I promise you that. But for now, that's gonna do it for me. If you made it to the end of this video, I love you. Platonically, of course. and I will undoubtedly see ya when I see ya. Bye-bye.